Okay, this is a one versus one Rome Total War commentary. Piper again. This is a 31k battle. It's Rome versus Rome, and hopefully I'm going to give you some tips on how to play better at 31k battles. The way I like to play 31k, I like to always bring some archers. I like bringing a balanced army. It does have its drawbacks, but I like to have archers just to defend the cavalry, and I bring a urban intensive army, so lots of urbans. My army, I've got 6 units of Praetorian cavalry. I've got 2 archers. I've got 11 urbans and 1 legionary first cohort. And the reason why I bring the first cohort is that it gives the surrounding units extra morale. So I put the general unit in the centre as well, and you find the combination of the general unit, who's there in the centre, and the first cohort. It gives a great morale boost to the army. My opponent, we're both playing as randoms. I'm player 054, my opponent is Mfune. My opponent is actually a player called Titan's Lame, so a very good player at 31k. He's brought basically like 6 Praetorian cavalry and 14 urbans. So basically I put my archers to the side. A tip when using archers in 31k: if you put archers with amongst your urbans, they have to fire up the way and they fire over, so they're effective, but they don't get that many kills. If you put archers in open plains like this without anything in front or between them, they can get direct shots. And the key with using archers in 31k is you want to take out cavalry. That's their job. So right now, if you're fighting armies like a Rome versus Rome battle and your opponent has archers and you don't have archers, you want to close the gap as fast as possible. So you want to play very aggressively and you want to get your urbans engaged, basically to give the archers as less time as possible to get arrows off. So we have a slight pillar war happening there, and Mfune he went for the charge against the archers, but I moved my cavalry across to defend the archers. So that won't pay off because he could have got a few kills, but he's turned his back on my archers, who are just completely going to rape his cavalry. And you can see already kills happening there. I think my opponent forgot to turn these guys round again. He might have been microwaving this side. But anyhow, he's managed to get a few kills there. Second point, always use Testudo to defend against enemy Pila, and put your units that are throwing Pila into loose formation. For example here, I'm not throwing Pila at that unit, I'm actually throwing Pila at the units behind. So manually throw your Pila. Don't use auto aim for Pila, because basically they throw Pila at the first unit in front usually, and sometimes they'll just throw Pila at a Testudo unit, which is kind of a waste. So you want to manually throw your Pila at units that aren't in Testudo. And you can see there, my opponent got caught. He wasn't in loose formation. He's in loose formation now, and I threw a lot of Pila at him. My archer's still getting a lot of kills on his cavalry. You see there, we just killed three horses. And we have units in Testudo that are defending against Pila. Okay, this scenario is where having a legionary first cohort is beneficial, because that unit there just defended against the enemy cavalry, and he could have routed there, but he didn't. So having that extra morale really does pay off. The downside of taking the Legionary First Cohort is that 1 versus 1 Urban Cohort is better than a Legionary First Cohort. So basically you're paying extra for having the morale. However, you do get more pure with the Legionary First Cohort. So my opponent's just gone for the cavalry charge there. I'm countering with my cavalry. Slight mistake by me there. My cavalry is going to get hit by the Pila. However, I did manage to do a mass rout on the opponent's right flank. So he did take some hits there with the Pila. However, it was probably worth it because he just routed 3 units of Urbans and a cavalry unit. And whilst all this is happening, my archers are still firing upon the cavalry. My opponent also made a mistake. He saw the cavalry coming in for the charge, and he moved his Urbans forward to get Pila shots, but he didn't actually put them back into formation. So Urbans are always better in rows of 4 in 31k, and the next mistake my opponent made was I managed to countercharge his cavalry. So basically his cavalry charges in, attacks the Urbans, but actually stops, which means that when my cavalry come in for their assault, they're getting a clean charge, which is devastating on cavalry units. You can see here the battle's pretty much turning in my favour. We've routed a lot of the cavalry, and now we're going to surround the enemy. You can also say that in 31k, if your units are blobbed like this, as opposed to in formation, they're much more prone to routing. So if I was to charge my cavalry in there, they do a lot more damage on units out of formation like this than they would do with units in formation. So it's important to keep your army disciplined and in formation as much as you can. It's not always possible, but it does help a lot. I made a mistake here. I was trying to rout his units there, so I was targeting troops at the back of his army, and I didn't actually think that was going to happen, but my cavalry actually charged through his entire formation, and they were actually caught by the enemy cavalry who were coming back from routing. So right now we've lost the cavalry there, but we're going to retreat, hopefully, because the enemy's also bringing over infantry there, and I can't beat that. But we have the archers here, and we've got greater numbers here as well. So right now we've killed enough Urbans to basically win this battle. We've got so many troops left that unless he can maybe do a side-on attack here, it's going to be very difficult. And again, that's where like having the extra morale comes in. That unit there just got attacked from the flank. And that's the Legionary First Cohort. So having that there, it just gives the whole army morale, and I personally think it's beneficial having that. It can help you win a couple of tight situations where if your army routs, then it's just game over. So the army is basically routing at the moment. The only troops that are left are, I think, 1 unit of Urban Cohort, and they're getting flamed from the backs as well. So yeah, it was a good game, well played by my opponent. I played this game under an alias because I didn't know my opponent was a clan player. But yeah, it's always fun playing different players, and you always learn new things from. If you're always playing clan players and you never play anyone else, you'll never really learn that much else. So it's good to play clan players and public players and players you've never played before. But yeah, it was a good game, very well played. The Titans are a great clan, and Liam's a great player, so well played, Liam.